Hello, everybody. This is your host, Alex Big Blue, and welcome to All Number One's Episode 4. So, in this series, if you haven't seen it before, I read first issues of different comic book runs, whether it be miniseries or just, full length ones, and I give them a quick review and tell you guys if I liked them or not. And you also get to see which books it was and the covers for that matter. So, let's get right into it for the first one. It was Eternals Forever number 1. I thought this was pretty cool. This is, I believe, the first Eternals book I ever read, if I'm not mistaken. I think this one came out around the time of the movie. Um, it doesn't really, it's not really that much like in common with it per se, other than the fact that it's some of the same characters. It is the Eternals and all that stuff. But this was a pretty good read. I feel like they really focused especially on Icarus, which is him, and Gilgamesh up there in the corner, and a little bit on Sprite. I thought it did a really good job on fleshing out those characters for me, having not read them in the comics before that much, if at all. I don't think, unless it was in a different book, I don't believe I'd ever really read anything with them yet. But I actually liked the movie a lot, by the way. It was surprised me of how good it actually was. For the most part, I enjoyed that quite a bit. So yeah, I was excited to get this after the fact, and yeah, it's a pretty good story. They basically have to have a big battle with their ultimate bad guys, which is like the Deviants, which is more or less like a monstrous race that's kind of like their built-in rivals from the start. And you really get some pretty good teamwork stuff and some interesting character stuff in general with like I said, those three, and a little bit with the other ones as well. It does have Thena and Fastos in it a little bit. But yeah, it's a pretty good action-packed issue in general, and I really enjoyed it so far. So happy to have read that one. Next up, we have The Phantom Stranger, the New 52 number 1. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This one was pretty weird. I know The Phantom Stranger is strange by nature, hence the name, but this one was weird. I almost feel like he seemed like, I don't remember how he usually is. I don't feel like he's usually like that from the book or two I've read before, but I almost feel like he's the bad guy the way they portray him in this. I don't think he's supposed to be, but he makes some very questionable choices that it doesn't explain. And yeah, I don't know. It kind of comes off weird, but nonetheless, it's a really quick read. And I might check out more of it if I see any more. I don't know if I how I felt about this one in general. It is kind of funny though. Something he does at the very beginning. It's really dark, and he causes the problem. But but it's kind of funny. If you read it, you might see what I'm talking about. But I don't know what that was all about. But nonetheless, yeah, it was an interesting enough read for as quick as it was. All right, going to the next one, we have the Gargoyle number 1, and it's a number 1 of a 4-issue limited series, as you see up there at the top. The Gargoyle, I don't believe I really knew much about, other than the fact that I did know the character and saw the book around a few times. I finally got that recently. I believe it was a year or two ago. I finally picked this up, and I have to say, I really enjoyed this one a lot. It is a very surprisingly emotional story. It has a very cool ending that I don't want to say what happens, and he has a pretty interesting way of becoming the gargoyle, and the story for it is very interesting in the backstory. It's what a lot of this is. But yeah, it's very cool though. I really like the gargoyle so far as a character, and I'm very interested to read more of it if I can find the other issues. All right, and last but not least, for the fourth book we have Hawk and Dove number 1 from the 1989 series. This is all new first issue. All right, so this is, of course, Hawk is the red and white. Well, if you didn't already know, Hawk is the red and white guy, and Dove is the blue and white girl in this one. The previous Dove was a man that was his brother, and something had happened to him. I think I know, but I don't want to say just in case. But something happened to where he's not the Dove anymore in this. So I don't know if these two paired up previously somewhere else. I'm assuming it's the case. But so, anyways, we have a female Dove here, and I think this is pretty cool. I really like this one a lot. It's a kind of a callback type of issue. It's kind of a good one-off type of action story, I would say. Crime happens. They answer the call essentially. And Hawk is a very cool beat 'em up type of kind of old school type of guy. And Dove is a very intelligent and kind of uh, maybe soft-hearted type of person more. So it makes a pretty good dichotomy with them two bouncing off of each other, I think. And in general, I really like this one a lot, honestly. I've always liked Hawk and Dove in general. I have not read this series yet, but I have the next 3 issues. And I really like this first issue, so I'll probably try to read those pretty soon. So yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a lot as well. It and Gargoyle was both very good stories that I appreciated quite a lot. And the other ones was all right too for what they were. That Eternals was surprisingly good, I might add. But yeah, I'm Alex Blue. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys later.